Hello, my name is Angie Kottmeyer, or Miss Cott as I'm known by many of my students. I'm here to speak with you about financial literacy through the lens of family and consumer science. But first, let me thank Dr. O'Donnell and the school board for inviting me to be part of this conversation. It's an important one, and I am honored to take part in it. Our focus tonight is financial literacy and how it'll be taught in our high schools very soon. You are here to hear about the various ways our district is considering rolling out that financial literacy curriculum. I'm here to convince you that family and consumer science should be one of the options for our students. I'll share a little data, a little history, and hopefully unfold a story that leaves you as convinced as I am about FCS's role in financial literacy education here at West. Now, the value of us doing this over a recorded Zoom is that you can come back and listen to it again or share it with friends of yours that weren't able to make it this evening. Let me tell you a little bit about me. If your student has taken a family and consumer science class at any point in the last 6 years, there's a 1 in 3 chance they had me. I teach all levels of sewing and 2 of our foods classes, Intro to Foods and Everyday Foods. But these are just a few of the classes in our FCS course of study. Upper level food students can also take baking or global foods. They could also take both. But we're more than just cooking and sewing. Students can take child development or college and beyond in the FCS program. My colleagues, Ms. Reed, Ms. Baylor, and I pride ourselves on delivering our content in a high-interest way, and we really see our kids responding to it. In the last 6 years, we've consistently run between 10 to 12 Intro to Foods classes. That's mostly our 9th graders. In the 1920 school year, we had 2 Everyday Foods classes. This year, we're rostered for 6, with enrollment steadily increasing over the last 6 years. Enrollment in sewing classes is growing, as is college and beyond, and our baking, global foods, and child development classes are consistently full. Over the past 6 years, we've grown from a 2-person department to needing 3 full-time teachers, and we have them. Why do I point this out? Because it's a nice little pat on the back, but also because research suggests that department and instructor appeal matter when it comes to rolling out new courses. In their study, Factors Influencing Undergraduate Students Towards Choosing a New Career, or new course rather, Dahl et al. Explain the key factors to consider when looking to successfully add a new course, like the one we're here to talk about tonight. They surveyed students at a large land-grant university, asking which statements they agreed with most in regards to choosing a course. After the response, because it met the requirement, the next 3 most agreed upon statements were: 1. 89% of students said the course was held at a convenient time. Second, 82% said the course subject mattered, or the course subject seemed interesting. Again, these are responses agreed upon. Another 82% said the instructor had a good reputation as a teacher. So the 3 most agreed upon factors had to do with convenience, the subject matter seeming interesting, and the teacher's reputation as a good teacher. Additionally, there was a strongly agreed category. 73% of students strongly agreed with the statement, "I know the instructor and like them." Now, while that was done at a freshman, with university freshmen, that is perhaps a limitation, but Dahl et al.'s work would suggest that a school that's looking to add a new course should consider instructor reputation and course relatability as factors. This brings us to the topic of financial literacy, which is why we're here tonight. As you know, in January of 2024, the state of Pennsylvania passed a law making financial literacy required content for graduation. Act 35 goes into effect for the 26-27 school year. So beginning next year, we must offer a half-credit course covering economic, education, and financial literacy. And students will have to pass it to graduate. Now, we in the family and consumer science world did not blink an eye. This content has lived under the umbrella of our discipline since the 1920s. In those days, as you may know, FCS was known as home economics, having evolved from domestic science at its origin in the late 1800s. But in those days, America was going through a huge shift from the late 1800s to the early 1900s. As a people, we were moving from producers to consumers. In the producing days, home economists helped primarily women and often, but not exclusively, in rural settings to practice ways to improve domestic life. Better nutrition, better sanitation, more efficient cooking, and food preservation methods all led to better outcomes for the family and society as a whole. The 20th century saw a shift toward purchasing goods. Home economists, primarily women, responded and added financial literacy and consumer economics to their expertise. They taught in schools, they advised companies in product development, and provided direct support in homes, especially through the Great Depression. Home economists have a diverse background, covering topics from nutrition and health, wellness, to design, fabrication, and resource management. This breadth is why the discipline is now known as Family and Consumer Science, or FCS. We in the world of FCS have actually been among those advocating for financial literacy instruction. Since the early days of the home demonstration agents a century ago to the extension agents and the FCS teachers of today, we have had access to, done research with, and a desire to share high quality and relevant information about personal finance. I'm going to share with you 3 resources, and I'll make those available in an email after our presentation. But the National Extension Organization of Family and Consumer Sciences outlines various topics, including money management, inflation, housing, fraud, and estate planning. These are all things that students might find relevant now, definitely in the future. The student organization Family, Career, and Community Leaders of America, FCCLA, discuss ways to engage financial fitness, targeting towards students, engaging students through various topics: earning, spending, saving, protecting your investments. Chapters of FCCLA who complete financial fitness projects can be eligible for honors and even cash awards. The Alliance for Family and Consumer Sciences offers resources related to saving, investing, borrowing, and managing debt, healthy spending practices, and achieving financial security. Not too many people realize that we're more than just cooking and sewing in FCS. It is our bread and butter, so to speak, but we're certified in and educated in so much more. Our study as FCS teachers includes economics, statistics, research, design, and resource management. We could offer these classes, and at one point we did here in our district. But in the last 15 years, we've moved away from them because we operate from an elective standpoint and because it's content that adults think would be great for students to know. Naturally, no kids want to take it. It's like the bran cereal of the high school elective options. Good for you, but fundamentally unappealing and never what you're really in the mood for. But the state of Pennsylvania has spoken, and next year, kids must eat their bran. They've left it up to school districts to determine how to deliver the content, and there are various certification areas that could teach economic education and financial literacy. Among them are math, business, social studies, agriculture, citizenship, and family and consumer sciences. As you know, our district is currently considering which departments are best suited. I think there's a temptation to have this requirement live solely in the business department. To some, it's the easy option. I mean, they have a class called Business and Personal Finance already. But this implementation is destined to fail because student choice matters. For an example, let's look at the phys ed department. Pennsylvania requires students to complete 2 credits of PE in order to graduate. They have all 4 years to do it. When traditional PE classes were all that existed, with cooperative games and competition, rates of misbehavior rose and attitudes sank. What was the remedy? Student choice. Now, as part of the PE course of study, students can earn their 4 half credits by taking a wide variety of classes in the phys ed department. One is based on personal strength and fitness. Another is CPR and first aid oriented. There's also the standard PE1 and PE2 classes for those that love different games and team competitions. But when choice by students is embedded into an obligation, the experience simply changes for the teacher and for the students. Rates of misbehavior are down and engagement is up as a result. Anecdotal information is great, right? But what about those of us who like to support our decisions using research? Don't worry, I'm here for you too. Looking again at the work of Dahl et al., today's students view course selection from the perspective of a consumer. We're all consumers. So let's say, indulge me in an analogy, let's say 5 of us in the room are in the market for a new television. We will no doubt approach that decision differently because we should. We have different resources and different needs. We will prioritize different factors in that purchase. Ability to have it delivered, price, the need to have someone install it. Because for anyone who's ever used those wall mounts, we know it's not as easy as they make it look. My point is that in 2025, we as consumers value options. We expect them. Now, a few of us may end up getting the same TV from the same place, but we very likely came to that conclusion with a respect to our own process. And encouraging students to use their own decision-making in the same way gives them agency and honors skills that they need to develop and use in just a few short years in college. We in FCS have a proposal. We believe that the district should take a 2-option approach to meeting the financial literacy mandate. Anyone who's been to college knows that you can meet your humanities requirement by electing from a menu of courses offered through different departments. There's no reason we couldn't do the same. FCS has many repeat students, as does business. Students are sort of drawn to the teachers and culture of our respective departments. We get some crossover, but a lot of times they sort of silo, because that's where they're comfortable. So far, I've explained why students should have options when it comes to meeting this requirement. Now let me highlight for you why FCS should be one of them. In her position paper discussing the various ways people misunderstand FCS, Sue McGregor explains the impact of people's lack of knowledge. McGregor's citations from the work of Kay Renwick detail how a lack of understanding about FCS has historically led to it not being considered as an option for delivery of certain curriculum. This is relevant as we consider how to implement Pennsylvania's newly mandated financial literacy content. Our FCS program has the expertise and the ability and the regard of our students to make it an attractive option for the financial literacy class. Do I think that some students would be surprised to know that? Yes. Do I think they would be pleasantly surprised? Also, yes. Now, I believe that FCS is valued in our district. You're here to hear about us, and your kids can tell you how valued it is. I also think it's sometimes underutilized and want to make sure that we avoid what Kay Renwick referred to as selective choice ignorance. In ignorance by selective choice, decision makers consistently opt for curriculum areas other than FCS to the extent that the public is left ignorant that it was ever unknowing that it was ever viable as a curricular option. I'm so grateful that you've come here to hear about how our district can best use its resources in delivering this very important content. In conclusion, from a pedagogical standpoint, I know that a surefire way to increase engagement is to offer students choices. When students have the ability to highlight strength and demonstrate what they've learned, they perform better and with a better attitude. It's a better experience for everyone. As a high school teacher, I'm working with people smack dab in the middle of a normal developmental stage of life where they resist being told what to do. I mean, these are your kids, so you know what I'm talking about. When I can give them choices, I just see better outcomes. And I believe we'll see the same when we allow them the option to accomplish that financial literacy requirement through FCS and through the business departments. 2 years ago, we were honored to hear that our FCS enrollment exceeded that of any other elective area. Tech Ed had held that spot for many years, but we have stepped into the lead these last 2 years. Additionally, we earned the yearbook superlative of most popular elective among the student body, as determined by a mid-year student questionnaire. We have a lot of kids in our high school, and there's no one class that all of them will like, nor is there a universally loved teacher. But including the most popular elective as an option for financial literacy seems like a no-brainer to me. I'll be available at the conclusion of this evening's presentation to answer any of your questions. I want to thank you for your time.